How do you guys get Tommy Neal to kind of more involved? We saw lots of him early on in the last few weeks, not as much, obviously.
Yeah, some of that is, what the defense throws at us too, right? I think with any offense where you got any offense, there's 6 eligibles out there that all deserve a chance to get the ball. The coordinator can dial up, and usually does. I haven't been around a coordinator that doesn't try to get everybody involved. And sometimes what you dial up, the defense produces something that requires a different answer. So, but Tommy's out there still working hard. Everybody, all the skill position guys understand that the play's called, then it can come to them at some point, right? And then for the majority of the time, it doesn't. Like you look at guys that get 10 or 12 catches in a game, those are anomalies. It's usually 4 or 5, whatever, right? So it can come back to them at any point, and they usually know when they're running up to the line, they really understand, most of our guys understand, if not all of them understand what the defense is and probably where the ball's going to go.
We see Pokey make crazy catches on a daily basis, it feels like. But also he is human after all. So after a drop like the one he had in the end zone, do you say something to the guy, or you just know to just give him some space?
I just smiled at him probably. It's one of those weird ones that happens. It's, if you're a defensive guy, a special teamer, you can be as tough and as rugged as you want. And if you try to tell anybody that you've never been on the ground, you're lying, right? So to me, it's the same thing with receivers. If you've never dropped the ball, if you say you've never dropped the ball, you're not telling the truth, or you've never played pro football.
This last one for me. Do you guys need more out of your passing attack in this back half of the season?
I think that would be unfair to say that. I mean, what you'd like is more from every group, every phase. I mean, that's the truth. We need 3-phase wins, and we need them down this stretch, and we'll need them going forward, further. If we want to go further, we need all 3 phases producing and adding to outcomes, So to say the passing attack, I mean, we could play a game and that plan could go out the window, and we got to hand the ball off 50 times, right? So to say that, I think, is you want more out of all 3 phases.
That Pokey drop, from way up in the press box, it looked like he lackadaisical, for lack of a better word. And he actually acknowledged that. He relaxed on it, which he almost never does. Could you see that too?
Yeah.
Thought it was an easy one.
I mean, there's, like run plays, we talk about the 2 reasons why run plays make yards. Drop ball, it's one of 2 reasons. Your hands were in the wrong spot or your eyes came off it. So, I mean, they usually know right away what they did. By then it's possibly too late. But, yeah, I mean, self-awareness is important. That's why you don't need to say anything to him. As a coach, you don't need to say anything. He knows exactly what he did.
Yep.
What am I going to say?
Yep.
The idea of, hey, catch the ball, that's not coaching.
Former linebacker telling him how to catch.
That's not coaching, though.
You say work in progress, as you are, and most seasons are, of course, a work in progress. But can you kind of compare this team to others you've had, like how much of a work in progress it feels like? I mean, some years you're rolling along, and I know you can always still get better. Does this one feel like, okay, we got a little more work to do than other years? Or?
No, I think we are where we're at, and I think I feels to me like we're in a good spot.
Right.
It feels like we're about to just keep adding to the good stuff. I think we made enough mistakes along the way. We've had enough learning experiences. There's more to come. But yeah, I like where we're at. Nobody likes the record, but in terms of our development and where we're headed, I try not to spend too much time staring at the record, right? Yeah. Just how do we keep progressing? And but yeah, if I were to look at this compared to other things, I think we're probably where we need to be.
I wonder if in some ways this is you've got more to coach and more to do, and maybe it's even more exciting in some ways, all the potential you can do to get better, as opposed to if you were 8-1 rolled along and there weren't a ton of problems to address.
You'd still be coaching.
Of course.
Yeah, you'd still be coaching. I'm not saying that we're,
I know, this
I'm
feels
I'm not
different.
saying that we, once again, we are a work in progress. We would always be at this stage. And on game 10, just finishing up week 9, game 9, we would always be still working. I think right through the playoffs, you're still working. Now the finite details, I think, are starting to take hold, right? Whereas earlier on, it's big picture stuff, and now it's more finite details to allow you to, finish more. So, as far as that goes, I think we're fine. Yeah.
When there's so much big picture stuff early as a coach, does that, at the beginning of your coaching career, can it get overwhelming for a coach? And is that one of the things you learn as you do more? That, okay, don't worry, we're going to get through this?
No. Yeah, obviously you learn every single year as a coach, but I don't think the big picture stuff is.
Never was overwhelming?
I don't think so.
Mike, you probably saw over the weekend Canada's men's and women's flag football teams qualified for
Yeah.
the Olympics. What do you make of Canada will be part of the historic, first time ever that flag football will be at the games?
Yeah, tremendously proud. I don't want to say envious or jealous. It's just that idea of being able to represent your country. It carries so much weight for me. I tried to tune in on the whatever channels they were on and watched a bit of it when I could. But I'm just so excited for both clubs and the coaches. Rachel's done a great job, obviously, and so has Lapo. And, I think they got some time now to keep preparing. I mean, the Olympics they seem to be right around the corner, but they also got a lot of time to, hone it. But for the women to win the Worlds is fantastic. And for the men's we had a bronze and qualify, both teams qualifying. It's like, I'm sure that's a bit of a weight off the shoulders, knowing they're in now and they can focus on a few different things. But yeah, just tremendously proud for both teams.
Did you ever imagine you would see flag football as an Olympic sport like ever?
No, it's hard. I was never in that flag world, so you sort of dreamt about football being in the Olympics, and you just knew that was very far-fetched. So for flag to get in there and Canada to be representing us, for the teams to be in and qualified now, it's just amazing.
It's still 2 years away, but what do you think it might do for the sport here in this country for people to see those athletes on that stage?
Yeah, I believe the studies would show that there's always a bump, when your sport's in the Olympics, especially for the first time, you get a bump. And we're up there in the rankings, so it's going to be, I think, a good focus come 2028. You'll see the games, people will be watching it. It'll be, I'm sure, very well attended. So, that's pretty cool.
Just last one for me. CFL players are going to be allowed to be in the games. Would that be like a point of pride for you to see some players from this league on that stage?
Yeah, I think it's important for the coaching staffs of those teams to put together the best possible team they can. With that in mind, is every pro player going to make it? Or, there's some obviously very, very talented players that have on both teams that have allowed themselves to compete at a high level and win medals at the World. So I don't know what kind of changes will be there, but that's up to their coaching staffs to figure out how to put together the best team in the moment.